my friends, this is our 46 days quarantine meditation, and we still like to have 3 more days to go, so up to 49 days, and I will think about it to come up with a new format, new content about streaming program. Again, today that we will start the meditation. I kind of repeated again and again about to have a good foundation for a good meditation. Of course, there are some more advanced meditation, but if you can have a good foundation for a meditation and for a good experience, then we can move on for the advanced the meditation class. Okay, so now we're going to begin. This is called C&C Meditation and Contemplation Meditation. The tradition is from the Chinese Han, H-A-N, Han Buddhism tradition, and the Tian Tai, we call Tian Tai school. This is the major school in Chinese Buddhism. The work, quite a lot works on how to do meditation, so it's almost like an encyclopedia, meditation. Okay, so now C&C, C means calming, to get to calm, serenity, anapana, breathing in, breathing out, breathing to get into calm, serenity, and then through vipassana, the insight meditation, to contemplation. Through the contemplation, we get to the wisdom. Okay, so it's called calming and contemplation, C&C meditation. Okay, so if you, before you do the meditation, the first one, important that your spirit need to be, have a good spirit, basically, not sleepy, not drowsy, and not too hyper either. And not too full, and not too hungry. So, and also if before you come to do the meditation, you take a shower, or you do some yoga exercise, stretch, your muscle, and these will be all, the best preparation to have a good meditation. So pick up the time that your mind is very, clear. Otherwise, just take a little bit nap, and then when you come to do the meditation, or take a shower, when you come to meditation. And remember that this cushion, the area, it's your temple, and here is your meditation hall. Okay? So when you sit on the cushion, the first thing you have to tell yourself that I will have a good meditation center today. Yeah. So that is basically you have to tell yourself. Okay, I'm going to have a good meditation today. And then now Sit down and tell yourself, body, breath, and mind. Body, breath, and mind. And for the body, then now, 7 steps. Vairochana, that means legs, the feet, your legs, closed. Full lotus position or half lotus, it's okay. But you just close the sit, and then the second will be your back. No hunchback, but no stiff back either. Okay, relax, upright and relax. Your hands, the thumb slightly closed and put close to your body and put on your thigh. And now circulate your body, counterclockwise, to loosen up your body muscle and also joints, and make sure you sit stable. That is the purpose. And now your shrug, your shoulder back and forth, shoulders back and forth, turn up and put it down. And now the chin, pull it in, not down, but gentle pull it in. Okay. And now this time, exhale, breathe out, 3 times to exhale the impure breath from the body. And after the 3 breaths, then immediately close your mouth and reserve the clean air in your body. Okay, so let's. Now mouth closed, and then the tip of your tongue behind the upper teeth, and with eye closed. Okay. If you ask me, how can you sit for the first tip is you need to have a right posture, so your body, the air, the energy circulated will be, smoothly. Okay? And secondly, how can you sit for long? Then if you feel any discomfort on your body, don't just, immediately change your legs, your position. Just go to the place you feel discomfort or pain. Just observe, encounter them, not withdraw from it. Okay? Now, your meditation hall is on your nostril. Okay? That means that your mind should be on your nostril. Okay, remember 3 techniques: breathing in, breathing out, counting. The second is following, discard the counting and just following the breathing in, breathing out. And third one, try to focus on the stop breath between inhale and exhale. Okay, now let's do the counting. Breathing in, breathing out. You count 1. When your mind can really concentrate on your nostril, you just follow the breathing, breathing in, breathing out, just follow. Raise the awareness, knowing that the breath comes in and the breath goes out. And the breath of the body. And your breath is short or now we're going to let you practice for 5 minutes, and then I will give you the guidance on the vipassana inside meditation. Now let's do some meditation. I'm going to review and you to now focus on the position of your body. Now put your attention on the top of your head, the very top of your head. It's heavy, it's light, it's cold, it's hot, itching, or it's a tickling. So what is the sensation on the top of your head? Just observe. And now extend the whole skull. Now to your forehead. Now move your attention to your brow, right, and eye, your left brow, left eye, to right cheek, left, the mouth area, now move your neck, the back neck, to the front, to your shoulder. Raise the awareness that sensation in that area. What kind of sensation? Heavy, light, cold, hot, pain, sore, numb, tickling. Your upper arm, your elbow, your lower arm, your hands, first finger, second finger, the fourth, the fifth. Now move to the left shoulder, your upper arm, your elbow, lower arm, the palm, right finger, left finger, the first finger, second finger, third, fourth, the fifth. Now move to front chest. And belly, into your back, the waist, hip, right thigh, right knee, right leg, your foot, left foot, first toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth, to left hip, left thigh, knee, left leg, left foot, first toe, second toe, third, the fifth. After you scan through the whole body sensation, you should feel warm and also even sweater. Your body surrounded by heat. Now, the strongest sensation in your body and doing analysis. Where is the pain exactly and what is the pain? Encounter them. Go there to make an analysis. Now let's spend some minutes. Allow yourself to focus on the strongest sensation on your body and do the emptiness analysis. let's do METTA meditation, sending our kindness, prayer, and thought to ourselves and to people we know and we do not know, extended to the sentient beings in the universe. May I be free from the infection of coronavirus, free from disease, suffering, and be well and healthy. May my spouse, parents, and children, my spouse, partner, and children be free from the infection of coronavirus and other disease, free from suffering, and be well and healthy. May my parents, brothers, and sisters be free from the effect of coronavirus and other disease, free from suffering, and be well and healthy. May my teachers and students be free from the infection of coronavirus and other disease, free from suffering, and be well and healthy. May employees and colleagues be free from the infection of coronavirus and other disease, free from suffering, and be well and healthy. May all my friends and neighbors be free from the infection of coronavirus, disease, free from suffering, and be well and healthy. May all the people in this country be free from the infection of coronavirus and other disease, free from suffering, well and healthy. May all the people in the world be free from the infection of coronavirus and other disease, free from suffering, and be well. May all the sentient beings in this universe, free from greed, hatred, and ignorance, free from suffering, and be well and happy. May all the doctors, nurses, caretaker, medical personnel be free from the infection of coronavirus and other disease, free from suffering, and be well, safe, and healthy. We pay our special respect and thanks to all these doctors, nurses. They risk their life and save more others. May all the political leaders be free from the infection of coronavirus and other disease, free from greed, hatred, and ignorance, free from suffering, and be well and healthy. We pray them to have enough wisdom and a sense of humanity to save more lives, create harmonious society and peaceful world. May all the people who got affected by coronavirus and other disease will gain the speedy recovery and be well and healthy. May the people who die of coronavirus and other diseases raise in peace and to be reborn in a better realm. Now let's do the special prayer. I would like to transfer the meditation merit to all the anonymous heroes who are doing research or come out with a method to fight with this coronavirus during this pandemic crisis. Now wrapping your hands, cover your eyes, forehead, and touch the ear, your neck, and also your shoulder, arm, back, and your thigh. Okay. I just like to remind everybody that in order to have a good meditation, foundation, okay, the position, you sit upright and relax, okay, it's very important. This is the foundation. The second thing, in order to sit for long, if anything like a numb on the feet or pain in the back, in the neck, in your head, whenever, okay? Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid and just run away. So, oh, okay, I give up. The only way can help you to sit for long is you go there and kind of, okay, this kind of the hurt, the pain, is like some kind of a rival enemy. And you go there and face them and tell them, I'm not going to give up. Okay, and then that would be the only way you can overcome the discomfort and sit for long. So I hope that everybody, doing the meditation has a right method so in order to sit long and also has some effect, on your body. Okay, this is our 4 days talk about the death, how the Buddhism talk about death and life. Of course, in China, the Chinese culture, that especially like my parents, generation, they will consider even about death, it's a taboo. But indeed, a reality. It's just a reality, especially if someone kind of become older, and kind of die in very people, that in Buddhism also consider as a fortune. So we have to take care of our body, and very healthy and also very peaceful in our society. So no violence in our society. So can guarantee everyone can, when we pass away, we can have a very peaceful environment. And because it's just a reality. Right now, it's a kind of inevitable for everybody, okay? And now let's continue. Yesterday we talked about that, the major karma, your habitual karma, your last thought, that will decide when someone kind of go for the next life. Factors decided, when we are going. So then, in the Yogacara Bhumi, yesterday I mentioned that this is a Buddhist commentary. It's a kind of a encyclopedia, 100 volume, almost through the Buddhist teaching in detail. And of course, there was a section talk about dying. And it talk about birth, and of course also talk about dying as well. And this Yogacara Bhumi finally compiled in kind of altogether in the 3rd century, and we say it's by Asanga. And some people say it's by Bodhisattva Mantra. So that means that this text is kind of from the heaven, okay, and very wide. Then come to the 8th century in the Tibetan tradition, there was a master, Pamasampa, very famous master. Then based on the come out with a text. Some people will call it the Tibetan Book of Death. Indeed, literally means Bado. The Bado is the soul, okay, the consciousness after die, and then before you take to the, so there was an in between, kind of life in between called Bado. And so the text names how to liberate the Bado, the method of how to liberate the Bado. That means help the Bado consciousness to the next life, even better life, or even no more come back to reality. And then this is written in the 8th century, and then the modern, I believe that was even in the 90s, so 30 years ago, by Sokya. He wrote this, the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying, and it was because it's in English, so it was very, very popular, and I think that's good things to, especially to with the Westerner about how the Buddhism talks dying. It's a great book. I think that right now you still can find a copy, And so, of course, this is not just about Tibetan teaching. Basically, it's a Buddhist teaching. So in this Yogacara Bhumi, it's very detailed. First one, from Buddhist view, about 3, and these 3 factors is just like a tripod, and if one collapse, the other 2 will collapse. The first one is called warmth, the temperature of body, the heat of body. The second, consciousness. The third one is the life span. Okay, the lifespan. So, the way the Buddhism talk about whether you still have the life, that means that will be the time when your consciousness leave the body. And when the consciousness will leave the body is only when the body become cold. So it means that if there was still have a temperature in our body, then that means that the consciousness is still inside the body. And that also means this person is still alive. And it's because of this definition that, I become very curious about how Buddhism, cope up with the organ transplantation, because the organ, you need to, an organ immediately. I have checked with some doctor that they may be even still, kind of immediately, especially those heart or liver. Of course, people also donate skin. They say it could be like within 48 hours. Because I have been wondering about, this organ transplantation, and then also about when exactly means the death. Because in Buddhism, the definition of a death is not just one organ fail or dead. Remember in the Western that, in the past, if someone cannot breathe, the breathing stopped, then people thought, right. But they realized, it's not so, because we still can rescue them from, lose the breathing. And later they say, well, it will be when the heartbeat stops. And right now we also realize that we can resuscitate, a patient as well, or the dying. And now the definition is brain death. And of course, recently there's research about maybe on the monkey, that even the brain death, the people can be saved. The animal, still can come back to life. So the definition of death in Western medicine is keep kind of a revived. And the Buddhism talk about death is more like a holistic. That means, doesn't mean death. That means all the organs, all the function in the body, fail. Also, and then the body turns cold. Then all the body become cold. Then the consciousness left the body. And at that time means death. Of course, this is a challenge, for I think that for the minds. But when you do for the practice, that if we encounter someone is Buddhist, because right now also this is a very, especially in the Han tradition, that if someone is dying, unless you leave some kind of the will, otherwise that what they can, when someone is dying, you leave it there, and they were doing chanting, not to touch the body, and doing the chanting for 8 hours. Why 8 hours? Okay, the first one, I want to, there was no indication in sutra or commentary, any Buddhist sutra or commentary, 8 hours of practice, like not to touch the body. Okay, I think this is maybe more from experience. There was one time I asked a nurse, I said, I just bumped into her at the airport, and then she told me she's working in the hospice. I have a question. Usually when people, the become cold, okay? And he said it depends on the weather, depend on the air conditioning. But very interesting, she told me, she said, oh, it's probably 8 hours. Okay, of course, that is why starting from year 2010, I started to try to have a conversation with the doctor, to figure out all this. And I also think that they have to know, why Buddhists, will not let people touch when, the patient is dying, okay? Okay, now, remember we talked about the warmth, the consciousness, and the lifespan, the life, okay? And what will be the situation when the patient are dying? Is that in Buddhism, say it very clear? Yes. Okay, they divide into two. One is about what happened to the physical body. The other one is to the mental. What happened to the who are dying? The physically, Buddhism talk about 4 great elements we call earth, water, and fire and wind. And this terminology is kind of, you have to give it to the definition. What does it mean? Okay. Earth, water, fire, and wind. Okay. The earth refer to things are kind of solid. Okay. Our bone, our muscle, our skin, our hair, our nail, all this, the inside our body, the thing considered as a solid, okay, like earth. That is the nature of the earth. The secondly called water, kind of a moving, liquid. So, for example, our urine, our blood, our tears, anything is flowing like a liquid. So that's the water, the nature of water. And the third one is called warmth. The fire is referred to our body, the temperature of our body. And the fourth one means, the breath. So if you look at the Buddhist text, or even you're looking at kind of a Chinese medicine has that idea as well. They will tell you that if these 4 great elements are not balanced with too much water or too much heat, that means that you have a fever, okay? Or too much water, you may be too fat. And so basically when we are dying, the language used in Buddhism, like Yogacara Bhumi, is referred to dismantle of these 4 great elements. That means when the earth, the element of earth dismantle, then our body will, skin will show some purple stands, and then, you think about the body deteriorate. I don't think that I can go into too detail, but also with the tears or urines came out, that means that dismantle of water. Okay, and lose the temperature, that means the dismantle of fire element, fire great elements. And then finally, no means, no wind elements. Okay, so if you look at the body, especially the corpse, or the dying, the body always shows the symptom, means the dismantle of these 4 elements. Okay, and the other very interesting, it mentions the reason for dying people feel pain, because in our body it's also dismantle of called moma, the tendon, the joint. But it mentions that if someone has a good cultivation, then the extent of the pain in this dismantle of a tender become less. So then, of course, the text encourages that to cultivate it. If you are cultivated person, I think it's probably more like if you are really good at meditator, you feel less the pains on your physical body. Okay, now talk about the mental. That first one, of course, it mentions that sometimes the dying person will feel like the mountain press, on their chest. That is because the dismantle, the collapse, the earth. And then if someone feel like a drum by the water, because the dismantle of water elements and the fire and the wind, so we're leading to the dying people have those experience. Okay, don't worry if you don't believe it, just leave it aside. And it says that in their mind, some people see the very present image, and some people will see very horrified image. And also, the life from the beginning, it's kind of your whole life, it's like a movie, kind of repeat the whole life, just like a movie. Okay, and in the text mentioned that if you see something horrible, don't be scared. Or if you see something very pleasant, don't get attached to it. Because all the things you see pleasant or unpleasant is because your seed of your experience, your karmic seed in, kind of manifest during this time. So that means that they are not real. They just kind of like a replay, like a movie replays from your past experience. And so you can tell that if someone has done a lot of things, have a good life, that at this time, almost like their memory is going to be very present. isn't it? If some very horrible experience, maybe this time they will bring the horrible experience for them. So that is why that for the dying, we always go there to help them to do confession. Just like wash out the third in their body, but instead of that wash the guilt or the sin from their mind. So some people, well, you know, what do they see? Some people say, oh, you see the Bodhisattva. Say, oh no, how about Christian? The Christian will see the angels, you know, because those the Bodhisattva or the angels is the reflection of from the sea of experience, and you should not, you know, do it, or you should not be scared of it, you know, just a kind of a detach from it. Okay, so tomorrow we will continue a little bit on this, you know, living and dying things. And if you become kind of take it as ordinary, as usual, then, you know, you can treat it kind of more like equanimity. Don't think that is the taboo, you know. Don't be afraid of it, okay? Okay, I will see you tomorrow again at 8 o'clock. So we still have a 3 day